Spectacular battles were waged, and the Raptors did all they could to protect Terra, their name for Earth, and at the end, lost. This epic battle between the native serpent Raptor Nagas Terrans is recorded in all the primordial texts, both public and secret, and best covered in the Bhagavad Gita of the Hindu epic, the Mahabharata. Notice nothing really sinister has truly been told about the Raptor Nagas Terrans other than they loved their home and discovered amazing knowledge about it which they were eager to share with Adam and Eve. Everywhere they go, the serpent Nagas Terrans wow Adam and Eve with their amazing powers, including offering them food, shelter, clothes. Adam and Eve kept being tempted. But is that a bias in the storytellers of the Bible? How is being offered food, shelter, and clothes a temptation when what your God, which is what happened to Adam and Eve, is offering banishment, cold, poverty, pain, loss, and abandonment? The answer to this is because there was and is a bias. The creators of Adam and Eve hated these Nagas Terrans. Adam and Eve were without a doubt created. That is universally agreed upon. And that is true. We did not evolve on Earth, which is why there isn't and never will be a missing link found. Every primordial book agrees Earth was inhabited and had a very incredible history long before Adam and Eve and mankind appeared. That is basic 101 truth. And the basis of that truth of our creation, you may not like. The Annunaki created Adam and Eve and humanity. We are the alien invasion. These truths are hoisted by their own self-evidence. Number 1, we are a created people. Number 2, every text including the Bible states not just one race but 2 races existed before us, at least. The creator race, who the Bible even concedes was an assembly of beings. And this creator race of ours had a passionate Regina Mean Girls vendetta against the native Terran Katie Herons of this world. They called cursed ugly serpent devils, but not just in their burn book. They burned it into the whole collective worldwide history book. And royal dust, who are nothing in comparison to both these higher-minded races, and both are still going at it to this day. The Annunaki never left, as all records indicate, for they are still taking all the natural resources they need, particularly gold, which they created us to procure for them as slaves, and why they are not out here overwatching us when we do a pretty good job at it for them. The Raptors physiologically cannot live on the surface for long periods of time, and to them, we are walking snot bubbles that smell bad. We and our human world disgust them, and they find us non-palatable to eat. They do not eat us and live in Agartha, which you cannot say about the Annunaki, for they are recorded to enjoy human meat and massive sacrifices in their name. The native Raptor Terrans are the holy men of old, who reside in Agartha, known as Inner Earth. They prefer nature and live in places you can trace by seeing where a fire of precise but questionably precise fires took place, as in Paradise Falls, Santa Rosa, Greece, Spain, and most recently, Lahaina. There is one thing these raptors who love to live amongst us but in nature cannot hide. They have horns on their middle fingers. Physiologically, The native Terran Raptors, by the fossil records and by myth, also have long snouts. By comparison, the Annunaki reptilian do not. They have shorter, smaller heads. And as opposed to the native Terran Raptors, the Annunaki reptilians cannot perform telekinesis and telepathy and interpret the invisible but magical field of electromagnetic bubbles, and therefore must and do and have been caught shapeshifting. Finally, the third point. Every culture around the world worshipped the Kati-Heron native Terrans, or holy men of old, the serpent people. These 3 points conclude the following. Serpent people at some point in our human history existed and lived amongst us, some as friends and some as foe. Part 6. Before the arrival of the Annunaki. Zeus dethroned Kronos after his supernova and the event we still celebrate with a festival of lights every Christmas, Kronia. Afterward, Earth revolved around Zeus, Jupiter, and for some time harmony was restored in the solar system. But even Zeus's reign ends. Something cataclysmic happened to Zeus, and Earth fell even further away from her original father, Kronos, descending further downward from the splendid golden age when God made Kronos and Zeus, the 2 great lights in the dome of the sky. As she fell, life on Earth experienced the densification of matter. As closer to the sun a planet gets, the more dense and compounded their energetic electromagnetic bubble fields become, causing them to fold further into themselves, which is what is happening to us, the children of Adam and Eve, since our creation. The great heights and ages of Adam and Eve, the life-size statues we find of the first men and women in Egypt, the Maori, the Machu Picchu, the Olmec heads, etc., are testament to the benefits of orbiting in the outer reaches of the solar system, as we had with Saturn and Zeus together as our 2 great lights in the dome of the sky. These 2 gas giants formed our golden age, and astronomical and primordial records lament the loss of the age as the fall of the angels and Christmas. As Earth became colder and her conditions changed, the Raptors began to move into inner Earth, in Agartha. Notice the heavy consonants of the word Agartha, as the Raptor lips and mouth formed words with a slithering quality and heavy consonants, but only spoke when pressed, as they were and are keener to communicate telepathically, as such communication also breaks language barriers, allowing for people to speak more fluidly and efficiently of any race, through imagined scenarios and fully formed ideas conveyed from one mind to another through thought. Imagine if I could just telepathically communicate all this to you. It would have saved me and you hours of waiting to get it. If it weren't for these cave of treasures our light beings find ourselves in today. It was also the fact that the Raptors were already moving into Agartha, inner Earth, which saved them from the fate of the dinosaurs when Venus was born, shooting out of Jupiter, or as the Greeks tell us, when Pallas Athena shot out of his head as a screeching, silvery glob of star fluid, leaving Jupiter with an open, red wound. The difference between the Annunaki and the native Terran Nagas. We humans to the native Raptor Nagas are fellow Terrans, fellow Earth beings despite being of a different species. To the Annunaki reptilians we are slaves. When we go to India for the knowledge of the serpent, which the Bible tells us we are destined to be consumed by anyway, because God commanded it that way, we learn of a cosmogony-based religion where planets are gods, and they exercise their wills in the heavens and in us. Now, the other race, the Annunaki reptilian, not only expelled Adam and Eve after creating them, but also Regina Mean Girl the Nagas, calling them devil Satans. The serpent Nagas, as reported in the Bhagavad Gita, battled against the Annunaki and lost. But even after losing, as reported in the book of Adam and Eve, still did everything to help Terra, their home, and all native life, including Adam and Eve. To the Raptors who evolved here and whom we have to thank for these primordial priestly sources, and basically all of our culture, including Christmas, the battle was for the sake of man, for the sake of the one soul of Terra Earth, and all the beings alive inside her dome, for we, as an earthly planetary collective, form the sacred fabric of life, and that is truly divine. The Anunnaki, as reported in the primordial priestly sources of Babylonia, Sumeria, the Semitic, rabbinical, and sacerdotal, won the battle against the native Terran serpents. Afterward, created Adam and Eve as slaves, demanded we worship not all of the Anunnaki, no, just one, just the commander, the military head. And when he won the battle, he also declared those who stayed by his side his slaves, his chosen people. Christ is revealed as Kronos, who is Saturn, the god of wisdom, and whose wisdom teaches us how to be Christ-like. The reward for such Christ-like behavior is gifts from Santa. So Saturn is also Santa, who is Kronos, who is Christ. However, if one fails to be Christ-like, one is then more Satan-like or satanic. Thus, Saturn also represents Satan, the devil. The long of it short is that Christ is Satan, Satan is Christ. Both reside in us, and we all have the equal capacity for both. But which do you choose for you? To be Christ-like or Satan-like? In fact, we sing or carol this Christ-likeness in us every Christmas when we sing. Fa la 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 la. I'm not a singer, so I apologize. Anyway, La is Lam, which is a sound of Saturn, whose frequency and hertz create the color red, the color of our red root chakra, or the fireplace in us. The chestnuts hanging over an open fire are the testicles in men and ovaries in women. The fire itself is ruled by Mars, called the Christos, signifying how we must be warriors for our own egos, our own truths and natures, no matter what anything tries to nurture over our natures. Our egos are our Christ, and learning how to be Christ-like while shining our light, our ego, means loving our egos, not killing them. The ego is also the dragon, the serpent in one. This inner fire of Christos burns inside us and turns our old selves into dust, which is what we are made of. As the Christ rises, it rises like a serpent, and this serpent is eating the dust of the old you. Climbing up the spine releases the smoke and dust of the eating serpent and becomes like a chimney, which Christos Saturn keeps rising. And if we are good, he turns our heart into the sacred heart in flames, or, if satanic, into coal. We can control satanic behavior in us by repeating Lam, or just as powerfully, if we carol Fa la 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 la. In Western society, we know this dance of Christ and Satan as the angel and devil on the shoulders, the Maya as the Tonal and Nagual, the Hindu as Pingala and Ida, the Chinese as the Yin and Yang. Only the Abrahamic religions see it as good and bad. In the next episode, the Abrahamic religions teach of Adonai, And this is a retelling just like Brahma is through Abraham. But these Abrahamic religions don't want that known. However, no matter who runs the world, who is doing what or how, never relinquish your power of your mind. The sacred knowledge of the chakras is how, as awakening your kundalini from the tip of your spine, heals and aligns your mind, body, and whole spirit. No matter how our paths cross, I look forward to meeting you. And until next time, trust and believe that it is okay to be you, the most beautiful you there ever was, there is, and that there ever will be. Because you are not a story that can be told twice, and there will never again be a stage for you to perform, but this one, right here, right now. So be you, the most beautiful you.